Today I'm reviewing this game. Nice title, huh? You like it? Well, some of you who read Japanese will probably know what this means. I can't, but I looked it up online and this game is called Machi, Koro. This is a game that has not been released in English version yet, but the publisher, Pantasaurus, has been nice enough to send me an advance copy. So they sent me this box, which is entirely in Japanese, so I assume it's the original box, and I'm sure that the English version, English language version will be in English. Rules, luckily enough, these are in English, and these are the rules. That's it. Very simple, very straightforward game, no doubt about that. And then there are cards. There are cards that players use to form their initial set, and then cards that are placed in small piles in a section of the table within easy reach of all players, and these are cards that can be purchased during the game. My copy didn't come with any dice, but I'm sure that the English-speaking version will also have dice. I added mine. The game requires 2 dice. Also, there were these things here in the game. They look like prototype things. Well, this is money. These chits represent money that you use in the game. I believe that the final version will have printed coins with numbers printed on it, if nothing else, because this is how those coins are depicted in the rulebook. If not, these are fine enough, or you can use poker chips. What is the purpose of the game? You are a big company that makes money by building and exploiting places that you own. Each player starts with a set of cards, which is represented by a bakery and a wheat field, which are already operational, and 4 landmarks that are, at the beginning of the game, placed face down. They can be built during the game, and when you build them, you can then start using the advantage connected to having that thing that you built. And the point of the game is to build all of the landmarks that you have in front of you. The first player to complete his city by building all of those 4 landmarks is the winner of the game. But how do you win your game? Well, before you get there, how do you play the game at all? Very, very simple. When it is your turn, you roll a die. Boom, that's what I rolled. Hooray! The number that is rolled is then matched with the cards that you have in front of you. You look at the numbers on top of all of your available cards. Some cards also are operational or active during other players' turns. For example, suppose that I had rolled a 3. My bakery is active on a 3, does something for me on a 3. I can get a coin from the bank on my turn only. That's great. It was my turn. I rolled a 3. I get a coin. Suppose I had rolled a 1. My Whitfield works for me now because I have 1. I get a resource from that. I get 1 coin from the bank on anyone's turn. That means that I rolled the 1 and I get the coin, but anybody who has a 1 also gets a coin. I remember, everybody starts with the Whitfield, so that means money for everybody at the beginning of the game. You acquire coins, you earn income by using the effects, and as the game progresses and players will have many types of cards and places in play, there will be many effects that will take place, will interact. Sometimes you have to figure out who goes first. Nothing too complicated, really. Once in your turn the money phase is completed, you got your money and everybody else got the money from the effects that happen on anyone's turn. And it is still your turn. When it is your turn, after income has been earned, you can build 1 thing. That is, you can purchase a card from these ones. Again, these will be placed in piles. All of these are potentially available. And you will purchase it and you will add it to your play area. You can, and the cost of each is printed here at the bottom of the card. Also, you can choose, instead of buying one of those cards, to build one of your landmarks. A very important landmark is this one, also fairly cheap. You only need 4 money to build it. Once you build it, then you can start rolling 2 dice, which of course changes the importance of initial cards vastly, because when you're rolling 2 dice, well, you're not nearly as likely to roll a 2 or 3. You can imagine how likely you are to roll a 1. That is, when you total together the 2 numbers, well, wheat fields become not as good as they were before. But luckily enough, there are also cards that will allow you to make your wheat field a little more useful again. Now, let's take a look at some of the cards that you can purchase. You can purchase more wheat fields. You can purchase a ranch, which gets you a coin from the bank on anyone's turn. As you can see, this is the same effect as the wheat field. But why would you want to do that with a ranch instead? Hey, some people like meat, some people like cows, and it's nice to have diversity and stuff, but actually there are also cards that interact with ranches, and this is why it may make sense to have those. Bakery, again, these are multiple copies on the original cards, the starting cards. Cafe, get 1 coin from the player who rolled the dice. Somebody rolls a 3, they may get income from the bank, and then you put a coffee in their hand and you get that money from them. Because they worked very hard to get the money, they stayed up, and you give them coffee. Makes perfect sense. Gain 3 coins from the bank. As you can see, most of the effects in the game really make you take money from the bank or from the players. There are other cards that allow you to do a little more complex transactions, but the majority is get money, steal money, give money. Get 1 coin from the bank on anyone's turn. This is your turn. Trade 1 non-establishment card with another player. Get 2 coins from all players. Pretty powerful. Take 5 coins on your turn. If this is your turn, get 3 coins from the bank for each ranch establishment that you own. See, this is awesome. Cheeseburgers. You have the cows, you have the cheese factory, cheeseburgers. I mean, it's just the best business ever. I know, probably the idea was, oh, you have the ranch, then you have the milk, you make cheese. Boring. There's this cheeseburger synergy to me. Furniture factory, this is your turn. Get 3 coins for each car with that symbol, which means forests and mines. Mines also get you coin from the bank. You get coins from the player who rolled the dice. 2 of them with if you have a family restaurant, and coins from the bank, and the vegetable and fruit marker that gets you coin from the bank for each establishment with that symbol that you have. So that is the card that makes the wheat field interesting, useful. Again, after the shift into 2 dice made it completely useless. As for your landmarks, this one gives you 2 dice to roll. This one earns your coin from the establishments that you have that have those symbols. If you roll matching dice, you take another turn up to this one, and once every turn you can choose to re-roll your dice, which can be pretty powerful and pretty cool. This is a very simple, very elegant, and I have to tell you, very entertaining game. I was surprised that it was that entertaining, but it is, so that's a great thing. Lot of things to like about this game. The art is absolutely adorable, those very lively colors, so the illustrations are super pleasant, very family friendly. I like the art very much. As for the mechanics, lot of good things about it. One thing that I really like is the fact that there is virtually no downtime. You have numbers that may score also when other players roll their dice, or you're afraid that when a player rolls dice may do something bad to you. Either way, in either case, you're going to be interested in what other players are doing, and you're going to look at what other players roll. Everybody's involved at virtually all times, which is absolutely great. And even if you weren't, if you're in a situation where somehow you're not, the game moves around so fast that there's still virtually no downtime. You have to exchange money, and sometimes things can get, I have to give you money, but then I give it to that person, I get one, and da 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 da. Nothing too complicated, really nothing that becomes confusing. And again, everything is so fast, the game moves so fast. Could there be some downtime if people become too annoying and they really want to maximize their options and spend a lot of time looking at the cards and trying to figure out some sort of like very complex evolutionary economic tree? I see a possibility there, but the game moves so fast. It has such a fun feel to it. It is so light that I don't see that being too much of a problem. You may have the gamer who is compulsive, obsessive compulsive, may play that way. That can be annoying. One good thing is that you can have many paths to victory, many ways in which you develop your economy. You can play the game as sort of like a multiplayer solo, each player minds their own business. I also see how people may instead decide to look at what other people have and create synergies, interactions, try to defend against certain effects, try to diversify. Other players may decide to try to go along similar paths as other players. So there are different ways in which you can choose how to interact with other players, and also how you can choose whether to interact or not. As for the many possible paths to victory or to defeat, it depends on the path that you take. One thing is that with a game such as this one, I have the impression that there is always the possibility at some point that you find one of those gamers. You probably know them, probably you encounter some at some point, maybe you're one of them. One of those gamers, usually they're computer programmers or people with a degree in economics that like to figure out the best algorithm to win the game, or the one that gives you the best chances of defeating everybody. And like almost like they're not playing against you, but they're playing against the design, and they want to break it, and they don't feel completely rewarded until they figure out the one algorithm that destroys everything, especially the design. And then they're both triumphant, and they start whining that the game is not fun. I wonder, oh, why is not the game fun anymore? Oh yeah, because you spent all this time to break the design. I'm making fun of these people. I have a lot of friends like these, and I love them all. I'm just not going to play this game with them. I'm gonna play it until they figure out the algorithm, and then I'll play with somebody else. Kinda kidding, sorta, kinda. If this happens, then of course, I'm sure that there will be ways of fixing this, maybe with expansions, maybe simply by not using certain cards. But most players, when faced with this game, I hope that they will play it in the spirit that the game really seems to require, at least to encourage, which is one of light, fun, enjoyment. Go with the ride, make decisions, roll dice, exchange some friendly banter as money is exchanged, and backs are friendly stabbed. Yes, friendly because I steal money from you, and next you steal money from me, and then my wife steals money from both, and then whatever. It goes back and forth. This is why I think that even though there is some direct confrontation in the effects, there's just so much interaction and mutual stealing from each other, exploiting each other, that it feels like things kind of like equalize themselves in the end. I think that even if you play this game with younger players, you're not likely going to have the kid just crying and rolling on the floor screaming. They're probably going to have fun by exchanging, again, friendly banter and tricks that they play against each other. In conclusion, light, simple game that you can teach in minutes, you can teach to anybody, you can play with non-gamers, with casual gamers, and even with hardcore gamers, as long as they are able and willing to enjoy a change of pace and a fun ride and a friendly, fun experience with definitely a family-friendly appeal to it. I'm glad this game is being published in English because I find it very enjoyable. A game that you can play with your family with no downtime, with a lot of options, with just such nice art, with such accessible mechanics. Definitely is a nice addition to the world of gaming today. It is a game that I believe will be very popular once it hits the American and English markets, and through these the markets of all other people that can access games in English. Also, it's very easy then to reprint it in different languages. Once this game hits the Western world, I believe that is a game. This is a game that will be popular. I think this is a game that we will hear about. May become one of the new classics. May become one of those games that move from being a gamer's game to a game that you find in bookstores, that you find in places not just specialized for games. Some people may see that as a vulgarization, as a degrading process for a game. I think it's all good. More people play a game, more people enjoy a game, the better. The game doesn't get worse because there are many people that enjoy it. I think this is a game that is fully enjoyable. I think many people will enjoy it, and I'm pretty happy about it.